the first lesson, Deuteronomy 26, from 1 to 11. The book is literally the children of Israel now in the land flowing with milk and honey. And God tells them how not to forget. Don't forget where you came from. Don't forget my power in your life. Don't forget the doors I opened for you. Don't forget the seas I parted from you. What I love, if you start even from verse 5, it's not even starting with this generation. What did he say in verse 5?
And thou shalt speak and say before the Lord
And you will say before the Lord thy God,
a Syrian ready to perish was my father.
my father was a Syrian that was ready to perish, yes.
And he went down from Egypt.
And he went down into Egypt. Thank you. Let's just pause it. Not even just your blessings of the past. Go all the way back to what he had done in the life of your father. And then bring it back to yourself. And he says he wants you to remember and bring that continually as an offering to him. And then in verse 16 and 19 of that same chapter,
This day the Lord thy God.
it said what?
This day.
This day, not today. This day, yes.
The Lord thy God.
Yes.
Hath commanded thee to do this statutes.
He has commanded you to do these statutes and judgments, yes.
Thou shalt therefore keep and do them.
You will keep and do them, yes.
With all thine heart.
Yes.
And with all thy soul.
With all your heart and soul, yes.
Thou hast avouched the Lord this day to be thy
You have
God.
done what? Avouched the Lord when?
This day.
This day again, yes. To be thy God.
And to walk in his ways.
And to walk in his ways.
And to keep his statutes.
And to keep his statutes.
And his commandments.
His judgments.
And to hearken unto his voice.
His voice, yes.
And the Lord hath avouched thee this day.
And the Lord had done what? Avouched thee when?
This day.
This day, yes.
To be his peculiar people.
To be his peculiar people.
As he hath promised thee.
Thank you. This day, this moment. But he told them, for all those things to happen this day, you need to bring to remembrance the things I did for you yesterday. So, last night I was trying to write a sermon, and all kinds of distractions when you got little kids. I mean, it's just, it never stops. There's no way you can hide. They'll yell, daddy, daddy, they'll try and find you. And so when it got to the evening, I know they had eaten dinner. I made sure I gave them a whole lot of food so they'd be tired and leave me alone. I went to go sit outside, and I turned on this little lamp. I was feeling like, yeah, the spirit is going to come and find me. But I looked around, all I saw was a cocoa bling bling. I'm like, which spirit do I want to come and find me where I am now? But I took my laptop out there, I sat down and started working. And next thing I know, I hear this little footsteps, pitty pata pit. I'm like, no, don't tell, don't. I look back and it's Madiayo. I was like, hi, daddy. I'm like, what do you want? He's like, nothing. I just came to see you. I'm like, okay. Who let you out? He's like, mommy. I'm like, She doesn't want wahala, so she sent him to me. And so he says, what are you doing outside by yourself? And I'm like, I'm working on my sermon. I have to give a sermon at church tomorrow. Do you have any tips? And he looks at me and he goes, Daddy, it's too dark outside. I can't even see the trees. And I go, okay. And then he goes, all right, Daddy, I want to go back in. Bye. And he runs back in and he goes away. And so I was just walking away. I'm like, can you believe this boy? And I was like, wait, I think he actually gave me a tip. And he's like, I'm like, okay, well, what is going on here? But all he said, again, was, it is so dark, I can't see the trees. And honestly, it said, okay, this day, this moment, where we are, is where we live in. And this is what we do as human beings over and over again. We live in the dark, so we can't see the past. We never remember what God has done for us. We sit in that same dark, we can't see the front. We never have hope and faith that he can't do it for us. So we sit in that moment of anxiety. We reside in our moment of fear. We continue to stand on that moment, and it is all about God. What are you going to do now? That is all we live by. It is all about what God is going to do for us now, in this moment that we're living in. And it's a scary thing because God demands this. That's why he made it a whole chapter in this where he told the children of Israel, that you need to bring to remembrance the history of the things I've done for you. And then he made that promise later on in the chapter that the things of the future will now be fulfilled in your life. In 1 John 1, from 5 to 7. This is the message.
Which we have heard of him.
Yes.
And declare unto you.
I declare unto you the message I have heard of him, the history of Jesus, yes.
That God is light.
God is light.
And in him is no darkness at all.
And in him is what? So if you are in God, you will not be in the dark. Continue, please.
If we say that we have fellowship with him.
If we say we are with him, if we say God is with us, yes.
And walk in darkness.
Then we lie.
And do not the truth.
And we do not have the truth in us.
But if we walk in the light.
But if we walk in the light,
As he is on the light.
yes.
We have fellowship with one another.
We have fellowship with one another. Thank you. If we are in Christ and we believe Christ is with us, then the only attributes we will have with us are the attributes of light. We will have full trust in the God that did it in the past. It's the God that will do it tomorrow. But the truth is we don't. We continue to live in anxiety and fear. When is the next release going to come? When is the next breakthrough going to come? When is the next upliftment going to come? None of us sit down and look back and go, there was a time when I didn't have a job. There was a time when any police officer pulled off behind me, I got scared that I was getting deported because I didn't even have my papers yet. But now you've gone past that, so it's not a big deal. But it was a big deal back then when you didn't have it, right? Remember that feeling. Remember that first time you fell in love with your spouse. The way it overwhelmed you. Now they're the same person you can look at with disregard. And go, well, they've been here for the last 10 years. They're not that useful to me anymore. They're only useful when you want to find pleasure within yourself. And that's it. How do we bring to constant remembrance the things that God has done for us in the past? In Isaiah 29:13, it says, we all know it. These people draw near me with their mouths. They honor me with their lips. But what? Their hearts are far from me. I know everybody knows it. And what it said, if you read the second lesson, the last verse of the second lesson, Matthew 13:52. 52. Yes, then he said unto them,
Therefore, every scribe who is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven.
Everyone who is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven does what?
It's like unto a man that is a householder.
You are all like somebody who is a householder, and you must bring what?
Which bringeth forth out of his treasure.
Out of your treasures, what?
Things new
Things new and things that are what?
old.
Things that are old. And what are those old things? The things he has done in your life. What are those new things? The faith and hope that you used to know that he will do it again. It is continual. He was teaching them in the first reading of how to remember, how to bring out of the treasures things that are old. And he's now telling us in the second lesson about eternal salvation, the things that are new that we're looking forward to. And we have to be the bridge between those two things. If you find the book of Mark chapter 9 from verse 14.
And
when he came to his disciples,
he saw a great multitude about them.
listen to this. And this is where I go back to again. We're not necessarily interested in Christ. No matter how much we say we are. Some people are fervent here because they think it is going to get them something. We're not worshiping because we want to worship. We're worshiping because we want to get to something. I don't run because I enjoy it. It's because I want to keep a sensible weight. There is something I'm looking for. That's why I'm doing it. Who wants to be running outside in the sun all the time? But I do it because I know it helps me stay fit in some sense. Why do you worship God? Do you ever ask yourself that question? Why do I pray so fervently? Why am I we always say it now. When we're looking for that big thing, when we give the testimony, we'll say it. I fasted for 3 days. I woke up at 3 a.m. or like my brother, I laid in front of the Lord naked. And I said, God, and I took it a lot, blah, 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 blah. It's not here, right? Don't tell him. I know, that's what I'm telling not to tell him. No, but it was because he was demanding something from God. All of a sudden, his worship went to gear 7. It went to, now that's when people start quoting, the kingdom of God is taken with violence. Because you know what you want. But when it is time to coast, that's when it's easy to lay in bed and not give as much. He said, bring to me your first fruits. That is what he asked us in our first lesson. Bring it to him over and over again. What is the best in you that you're bringing to God? What is the best in you that you're bringing to God? You have to understand the relationship God wants with you. And there's no picking on, there's no recipe. There are people who get here by 9 a.m. for service and they know what they're looking for from God. It's not necessarily because they want to be on time and praise God. It's because they don't want anything to be counted against them so they can receive what they want to receive. And there are people who just do it now because they know it's the right thing to do. Because of the honor, because of the love that they have for him. When they showed up, yes.
He saw a great multitude.
Christ saw a great multitude. Listen to what Christ said.
And the scribes questioned with them.
Yes.
And straightway all the people, when they beheld him, were greatly amazed.
They were amazed.
And running to him, saluted him.
Yes, and what did Christ say?
And he asked the scribes.
He asked them what?
What question you with them?
What questions do you have with them? What conversations are you having? What in the word are you talking about? What about me are you discussing? Are you living in my word? Are you speaking me? But see why they gathered. Yes.
And one of the multitude answered and said.
And one of them said, Master,
I have brought unto thee my son.
Can you believe this?
Which hath a dumb spirit.
We did not come here to listen to any sermon. I came here for healing for my child. This is why I came to you. At least he was honest. He asked, what conversations are you having? What's going on in the church? I don't know. I just came for you to do this work for me. That is why I'm here. Some people come early in service and all they're waiting for is the prayer they're going to do at the end of service. He said, I did not come to discover you, Lord. I came for healing. Yes.
And wheresoever he taketh him,
yes.
he teareth him.
Yes. Go to verse 19.
He answered him and said,
he said the disciples had tried to heal this child and they couldn't. And then Christ answered them and said what?
O faithless generation.
How long shall I
be with you?
Wait, how long do I have to be with you?
How long shall I suffer you?
How long will I suffer you?
Bring him unto me.
Bring him unto me. This is where he was going. How long do I have to be there? When you're in the dark, again, you don't move. You don't move until you can feel something. Once the light goes out, what do you start to do? You start to find something familiar. Let me find the wall. And that's what we do with Christ. Because we're sitting in the dark. We need to touch him before we can move forward with anything. We don't believe that the same God who lit our path in the past is still the same God today. So we need to touch him again. We need to feel the holes in his hand again. That's what we do all day. Show me again, Lord. Deliver me now. Pay that bill for me, oh Lord. Give me that promotion, oh Lord. Give me this. That is how you prove to me that you are still God. That is how you show me that you are still on the throne. Save me from my marriage. Save me from what I am in. Because that is how I want you to prove yourself to me again. Why must God continue to prove himself? He asked again, how much longer? That was what he was asking. It wasn't about the saving. How much longer must I suffer myself, suffer you people here? How much longer? When are you going to start believing that whether you see me or not, I am there? When? But yet you stand in the dark, waiting to fill out, waiting to touch. Yes, continue. Verse 22b, just the other half of 22.
But if thou canst do anything, have compassion on us and help us.
He said, if you can do anything, do what? Have compassion on us and help us. If you can do anything. This is that doubt again. Not I know you can do anything. Somebody else, please find Mark 5, 27 to 28. If you can do this, have compassion and help us. And that is where we go again. We demand these things, but there isn't a full trust in our hearts that he's going to do it. Now I want you to look at the woman with the issue of blood and look at what she said. When she heard of Jesus, she came in, pressed behind, and touched his garment. Please keep going. For she said,
if I may touch.
Listen, this is the different level that he's demanding. If I may, she's only heard of him. But because of the history of what she has heard, she didn't even have a personal contact with him yet. Because of the history she had heard, she already believed. Yes, if I touch him,
If I may touch but his clothes,
if I can just touch his clothes,
I shall be whole.
I shall be whole.
And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up.
And straight away, healing came to her without even a word from Christ. Because what? The word she was speaking was Christ in her. She had already believed. She was sold. She was tied to him. See the difference between the two? The man who brought his child and wasn't sure if Christ could do it, he said, if you can do it, have compassion on us. And the woman who had heard that, there's this man that has done many great things. I trust he can do mine too. So if I can just touch his clothes, not even touch him, not even hear from him. Before Christ even spoke, she was healed. And what was beautiful about it is Christ goes, how did power leave me? When you are one with Christ, he will work for you without working. You're not putting him to work. He didn't have to stress. Look at these ones. He came and said, oh, how much longer must I suffer? Christ is already stressed with this healing we were just reading about. With hers, where it was just easy because they were standing on the promise of God. She was standing on faith because she had a remembrance of what he had done in the past. So nothing that she was dealing with was with fear anymore. All she said was, I just need to be close enough to hold him. Are you trying to be close enough to hold God? Or are you trying to be close enough to get what you're looking for? Which one are you reaching for? Because sometimes here's the problem we have. What we're reaching for is not where Christ is. And we keep trying to ask him, why am I not there yet? Because it is not always that your will is his will. So the one thing you should be guaranteed is, as long as you reach for him, you will have peace and you will have everything you're looking for. That is what you need to bring. Because you need to remember what he gave you. When I wanted to come to this, I was talking to my dad yesterday. And I was talking about us coming to America. And everyone knows the joke. And at this point, when I was in Nigeria, all I kept praying was, God, give my father a transfer letter for us to come to America. I wrote it. There was a rock in our prayer room. I wrote it on the letter. I put it under the rock. If only I knew what putting things under the rock meant for Sele. I didn't know I was delaying it. But that's what I would pray about it. God, give us transfer letter to go to America. You know, my 3 older siblings were already there. I was like, this is enough. Me too, I want to go over there. I want all of us to be there. Did the transfer letter ever come? No. Till today, you ask me how we came to America. All I can simply say is, we went to the embassy. We asked for visa. They gave it to us. We bought tickets. We came here. And somehow the Lord did it for us to get our papers. And that's the story. There's no big miracle. There's no big bang. Because it was what? Where? Problem was I was trying to prescribe to God how I come to America. But God was telling me, this is how I'm going to get you to America. There's no drama there. You can't make a movie out of it. There's no action. It was just, I went there, we asked for visa, they gave it to us, stamp it, go. We're on the plane. End of story. There was nothing else there. But no, we're looking for that big mighty thing. How is he going to do it? We're not only asking for what we want, we ask him how we want it. It's not that you want your child to be the best in class. It's that you want your child to be successful. And if it's successful is not through school, then why is that up to you? Ask for the right things the right ways, and the Lord will grant it unto you. Continue that. That's man that did not have complete faith yet. The Lord asked them, then 23.
Jesus said unto him,
listen to what Jesus said unto him.
if thou canst believe.
Listen, not do you believe. God already knows he doesn't believe. But if you can believe, yes.
All things are possible.
All things are possible to him.
Him that believeth.
See, here's the way you have to read it. If you can believe, pause. I'm letting you know that all things are possible for those who do what? So what I'm telling you is, don't just ask for the healing for your child. Believe in me completely, and you will get the healing and 100 other things that you didn't even know you needed. Because it's not just the healing for your child now. It is what? All things. Not just what you're asking for. What did Solomon do? He just wanted to please God. He didn't want it. It's not that he didn't want. If God asked him, what do you want? And he said what? Wisdom, knowledge. You think that was the first time he thought about it? He had always wanted that. He always wanted it. It didn't just come out of his mind. He always wanted it. But guess what? He never went to God to say, give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All he said is, as long as I can just grab onto his robe, as long as I can just please him, whatever I want will be mine. Nothing in my life will be impossible. That's all he did. And once he got into God and he touched his hem, God said, I'm smelling good. I'm smelling cow. I'm smelling cow. You sacrificed the whole world to me. What is this? I just want to praise you, Lord. What do you want? Because anything for you now, there is no impossible in your life anymore. And then at that point, he said, give me wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You have that down, don't worry. What else? Whatever you think. And all of a sudden, the Lord just started building all wealth that he did. You know when they steal from you and you don't even know. That's when when money leaves your bank account and it's the bank that calls you to say, we're sorry, we had a bad transaction. You're like, I didn't even. That is the kind of money you want. You didn't even know. When you check your back pocket and your wife has taken 20 and you didn't even remember. Not the one that you got to look at. Who took my money? You line up all your kids and your wife. I know I left money in this pocket. No. It's the kind where you forget where you've even hidden money in your house. That's what you want. And that's all. But don't go running around saying, Lord, I want money. Because you start chasing that and you forget about Christ. Your focus will be completely on that. But here's where the man now delivered himself. Go to verse 24.
And straightway the father of the child,
Straight away after he heard what Christ said, he said what? He cried out.
And said with tears,
Lord,
I believe.
wait, I believe because I know I can touch you now. I believe because I know you're standing here now. I believe because of what you are doing in my life now. But what?
Help thou mine unbelief.
Well, help my unbelief. Help me so that when I leave here tomorrow, I continue to believe. Because it is easy to believe in the moment. It's easy. It is easy. It is easy to believe in the moment when something is happening. When you stand there and you see somebody and you say, okay, slap this person. You see them slap them. It's believable because it happened right in your eyes. But if I tell you that Shepherd slapped somebody in church yesterday, you're not going to believe because you didn't see it. But it's possible. No? Yeah, exactly. See, they're witnesses. No, but here's what I'm saying. The bottom line is now I can believe because you are here. And when Christ said, "O faithless nation, how long must I be with you?" What he was saying was, when you are not here any longer, please help me to continue to believe. Even when what I'm asking for has not been given to me, Lord, please help me to continue to believe. Even when I am in the valley and I feel like the whole world is overpowering me, Lord, please help me to continue to believe. Even when you have not granted me that thing that I've been seeking from you day and night, Lord, please help me to believe. Even when it looks like everybody else has run further than me, Lord, please help me to believe. That's what he said to God. Now it wasn't the importance of his child being healed anymore. He changed the story. He didn't say, Lord, help me heal my child so that I will now continue to believe. Now he understood what he needed to do. It wasn't about this healing. It was about the continual relationship with God. That's why Christ said to the woman at the well, don't drink this, don't ask for this water that will quench your thirst just now, but ask for the living waters that will now make you not thirst anymore. Don't ask for the healing that is just going to solve the problem with your leg now. Ask for the healing that will give you complete peace of mind the rest of the days of your life. And that only comes from being in him. Your pursuit of Christ has to change. It cannot be favor driven. It cannot be blessing driven. It has to be driven by just an exclusive love for him. That's all it is. I went to Atlanta earlier this year to MC the 50th birthday of my brother-in-law. And I went there with my kids and my wife. And so I'm MCing. My wife, it's her sister's husband, so she's helping with this. The kids are there. And so they had a room for the kids. And both of them are in there. So every time I take a break or there's music, I run out, I check. She too, when she takes a break, she checks. At some point, she goes to check and she doesn't see Deji. And she comes to meet me. Like, I'm here, I'm holding the mic, I'm in the front, and she's making signs, and I'm like, what's going on? So I find a way, I'm like, DJ, hit the song. So I go and meet, I'm like, what's going on? It's like, I don't know where Deji is. He was sleeping in the room. I'm like, it's probably under one of these tables. So literally at that point, I'm done MCing. I have to find my son now. MC will wait. So I tell DJ, everybody's dance, come on, dance. I don't have time for this anymore. I go in the room, I look for him, I can't find him. So now I start going under each table. I can't find him. Then I am really afraid at this point. I'm like, what in the world is going on? And it doesn't take, I have a very wild imagination, so it doesn't take my mind 2 seconds to go from 0 to 100. So I start looking at everywhere. I'm like, oh my God, there's 3, 4 escape locations here. Someone could have carried him and gone out. They could be in a car right now. They're probably at least 5 miles from here. Who was the last person to see him? Who do I have to call? No, jokes apart, I'm literally, this is what's going through my head as I'm going from each room now. I see their storage room. I'm opening. I'm asking people, open room, open room, open room. And before God and man, at some point, I felt like I was dead. Because all I could imagine was, what if my child is gone? That was it. I said, I was like, God, please do not let this be a test for me. It was like, what am I going to do? What do I do? I didn't understand what I was going to do. I had no idea. At this point, my wife is already, I'm like, okay, I can't start like that. So after I'm like, yeah, everything is okay. But in my heart, I'm like, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, please help me. And here's the funny part. At this point, you're thinking, call the shepherd, start praying, do shepherd. I didn't even know who my father was at that point. I'm like, where is my child? And all I kept saying is Jesus, Jesus, Jesus Christ. I think Big T went with me too, and he's still walking around doing fine. But I'm like, did you see my son? He's like, no. I'm like, I don't have time for him right now. So I am all over the place, and my mind is lost. Finally, I just see my wife, and she comes out. She's like, I found him. And I walk up to her. All I do was hold her. I haven't even found him yet. I'm just holding her. I'm like, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. And she just burst out crying. I'm like, okay, I don't have time for this. I have to go and find him. And he's laying in the manager's office on the floor, on the couch. And the manager comes in and is like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's Atlanta. I'm so sorry. We saw him sleeping on the floor, and I thought he'll feel more comfortable on the couch, so I carried him and brought him here. At first, I wanted to say, like, what in the world what is wrong with you? I was like, thank you. Because he was being kind. But what I now realized was, I look at my parents, or we look at the relationship we have, and we wonder and say to ourselves, what do we owe them? But here's the funny thing. It's not like my son has done anything for me. It's not like he's giving me money or he's giving me anything right now. If anything, he's giving me a headache. Yet, there was a certain amount of love that felt like I was dead inside. And I didn't even understand it until I felt like I couldn't touch, see, or feel him anymore. I didn't understand it. I still can't describe what it is right now. Why I just grab him, why every night, even when he's asleep, both of them are asleep, I have to go to them, kiss them both, and check up on them. I don't know what it is, but there's something in there. That is the same love Christ has for you, but that is the same one he's demanding back from you. I love those who do what? Who love me. There cannot be an understanding of why you love Christ. You cannot be able to describe why. It is just because you do. That is what he's asking for from you. Where if he is not in your presence, you feel like you are dead. When you feel like when you can't touch him, you feel like you cannot live. That is the passion, the love he wants from you and I. That is why we need to continue to romanticize our relationship with him. Go back and say to ourselves, what is it that you love of me so much that you have done all these things for me? And I'm not talking about some big, I woke up today. Some can raise their hands, cannot raise their hands, but I can. Some can walk, cannot walk. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. This is our generic, we know the prayers. But when you sit down, you take inventory of your life. You look at where you were. You look at the things the Lord has delivered you from. You look at the others around you and you say how much better yours is. No matter how little it is, you look around and say, at least the Lord God Almighty has shown himself in my life faithful. And you bring those things up. That is the life you have to bring. You have to make it a habit because it's not going to come natural. You have to make it natural. You have to have those moments where you reminisce with your spouse and you say, remember when, I do it a lot. I'll go through my phones, I'll bring old pictures because it brings a story back. I'm like, I remember where I was when they gave me your number. I remember how low I was then. I remember after I spoke to you and I heard, oh, actually, I was like, hey, wow, my spirit is awoken again. No, but it's true because what happens later on in marriage is it gets harder for that spirit to just awaken because now you've taken the relationship for granted. It is the person you wake up with every day. When before you married, you couldn't sleep at night without saying, you hang up first. No, you hang up first. Now you don't even wait for them to come home before you fall asleep. It's true. It's changed now. It has evolved. Not because the person has changed. The heart of the person that you were chasing then is still the same. You've just gotten used to it. Never just get used to God. Make sure he is new and fresh. Every day. You're telling him, what's that song? It's new every morning. New every morning. What is the thing that is new every morning first? Your what? His faithfulness is new every morning. You want his faithfulness to be new every morning. But you don't want your desire for him to be new every morning. Exactly. That's the difference there. You need to change. You need to show him that you still feel passion for him. You still feel desire for him. Not for what he can do for you. That's why you remember what he has done. And then God will sit down and you're making my head swell small. It'll be like Baba over there, Uruka Jesus. When you hit to be saying you're making my own head swell too. Uruka Deji. That's what God will be saying in heaven. That's what you want God to say. That it is because of you that his own head is swelling too. Because you have praised him in a different way. You have brought him to remembrance in the eyes of people. In that last verse of the second lesson, he said it. You are like a householder that will bring out of your treasures the old and the new. Bring out the old things he has done for you. Remind the world of it. Testify to it. Don't let people know you by your problems. Don't let them know you by the person who is looking for a child. Don't let them know you as the person who is looking for a spouse. Don't let them know you as the person who is looking for a job. Let them know you as the person who appreciates what God has done in their life. The person who God has brought through already. The person who is standing firmly on the faith that God will continue to do it. My mom was bringing, I think we're doing Bible study on Friday, and she was talking about Moses. And I don't know why, I always remember it. He said the story here 100 times about his exam, fail. And one of the ones when he got the results, thank you, sir. When he got the results, I was there. I was outside on the front lawn waiting for him. He came back, and I see him holding it. It was cold because he had a hood on. And he's all quiet, and I'm looking. When he turns his face, his eyes are red. Water is coming out. And I think he's joking because it's just like, It was like the ugliest cry I've ever seen. So I really think he's joking. He's just like, literally, that was how his face was. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with you? It's like, how many times? I'm just going to keep failing, how many times? I'm like, And then that's when I realized it was actually real. He wasn't joking. So I took the paper and it's like, you missed by 1 point. You failed. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I didn't know what to do. I was helpless. I didn't even know how to console him. I just stood there. I tried to hug him, but it was an angry hug he was giving me. I just took it all that way. But you know what? Came back to church the next Sunday. Gave thanks. Nobody knew I was going through that until he told you the stories. And that's the thing. You will not know him as the boy who was failing exams. You will only know him as, that's Uncle Junior. That's Mo. That's Happy Guy. That's all. Even though he was in that storm, you didn't need to know about that because he was standing on faith. Not that he wasn't broken at some point. Not that he wasn't asking God to do it for me. And she was his mom saying it on Friday, a Bible study. You'll be coming, giving thanksgiving. I'm like, you are failing, you are giving thanks. But that was his way of doing it. And I'm not telling you here that this is, because even for us, some people just use thanks offering to ask for God. You're not even using it to just thank him. You're like, I'm doing this for you so that you can. Like, that is the nature, that is our mindset. It's like quid pro quo. You know, it doesn't work that way. That is not what God is looking for. It's not an ATM. If I put my card, money will come out. No, he's not. He's not a magician. He wants you to have a real relationship with him. It wants you, whether in season or out of season, to continue to live in him. If you look at everybody else's life, I think it's Philippians 2, verse 3. just that real quick and promise 2 more verses and I'll get off from here.
Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory.
Yes.
But in lowliness of mind,
yes.
Let each esteem other better than themselves.
Esteem what? Others better than yourself. See, when I've always read this, I've always thought about it as humility. Always lift others up better than you. But when I started to read it and I was being ministered to, it was telling me that even other people's problems, you have to esteem greater than yours. You have to say somebody's problem is bigger than mine. So why am I shaking? My biggest problem is that I don't have school fees for children. Somebody's problem is that they don't even have children to pay school fees for. My biggest problem is that my child is sick. Somebody else's problem is that they're about to bury their second child. Which one do you want? Esteem others' problems and even say that, there's worse things out there that I could be going through. That is how you stand in the light of Christ. That is how Job stood in the light of Christ for 3 chapters. Then by the 3rd chapter, his friends overwhelmed him. But that is how you stand there. Shall we take good from God and not evil? Is it not worse off for some other people? Not just esteeming people, but even esteem the issues in the life of other people over yours. Because the God you are serving is sitting on the throne. He's not going anywhere. Any witch that has power over you got permission from God to do it. Any wizard that has power over you got permission from God to do it. The only thing you need to worry about is not how he delivers you from the witch or the wizard. Is that you grab a hold of his hem. That's all you need to worry about. Is to be close to him. That is what our daily focus should be. How do I get closer to you, Lord? Is it through arms? Let me help as many people as I can. Is it through your word? Let me read as much as I can. Is it to the house of Lord? Let me come as much as I can. Because all I want to do is live for you, live in you, and live by you day and night. Everything else will take care of itself. I don't need to be specific about anything. I've said it 100 times. I'm not one of those prayer. I don't do long prayer. Because I don't even know what to pray for. I don't know how to pray for those things. I really don't. I have a list of people I want to pray for. Once I say their names, I'm done. When it comes to me, Lord, according to your will, do what you will. Because I have gotten to a point where there's no stress. There's no stress for me. Whatever is happening, if it's my sin, when I go back to God, I will be delivered from it. If it's test, when I stay in God, I will be delivered from it. Whatever it is, as long as I am under the shadow of the Almighty, I will be delivered. So that is all I should care about, is how do I get over the hump? I can't avoid sin. I will sin. I will lie here. I will do this there. I will do this. But Lord, please forgive me. Let me try to keep my mind open and understand that the same sins are not caught in my hand. Charity. Go pour out of yourself as much as you can. Pour out of yourself, not worrying about what the other person has or doesn't have. If they need it and you have it, give it. It's a simple formula. We overthink things sometimes. Are they going to use it for the right thing? Well, that person annoyed me, so I don't even want to give them something. You're not giving it to them. You're giving it to the Spirit of God in them. And that's why I said again that I want God to say, Oruko Deji, Lomorimu. Because when people are talking about you, it is making God's head swell. When they want to talk evil about you, and the angels are talking righteousness about you. He said, Balaam cursed the children of Israel. What was coming out of his mouth? It was blessing. He wanted to curse them, but only blessing could come out because that is what the Spirit of God was saying through him. So no matter what anybody is saying about you, whether they're evil or not, you just do good. And let the angels testify to your goodness. Don't worry about what anybody else says. You're not here to prove anything to man. You're only here to prove yourself to God. And as long as he's happy with you, it doesn't give a flying fig what anybody else says. Live in him and live for him. Sacrifice your own joy for others because God will be your joy. Let him be your joy. Let him be your resting place. Let him be your peace. Let him be your favor. Let him be your strength. Let him be your all in all. And at the end of the day, I promise you by God I serve, the crown of eternal salvation will be assured for you. May God bless his holy words.